In 1960s London, Estella is born with half black and half white hair. Because she looks different, she's considered an outcast and struggles to fit in with society's expectations. The young Estella is very creative and has a great eye for fashion, though her mother, Catherine, tries to teach her that she'll need to be able to follow patterns if she's to become a great designer. Estella, of course, refuses to do what is expected of her. She's brilliant, bad, and a little bit mad. Catherine sends Estella to a private school, urging the young girl to keep her bad side, which she has named Cruella, under control and embrace her good and kind nature side. But this doesn't last long, as Estella is clearly too odd to fit in. She makes one friend, Anita Darling, but the other students relentlessly bully and mock her. Unwilling to conform, Estella embraces her bad side, fighting back against the students, who eventually throw her into a dumpster. There, she finds a stray dog whom she adopts and names Buddy. Estella's bad behavior lands her in the headmaster's office over and over, making her a problem child and sending her mother into conflict with the school's headmaster. Estella's mother withdraws her from school in order to keep her record clean, despite the headmaster's enthusiasm for expulsion. Catherine drives Estella and Buddy to London, hoping to start a new life and encourage her daughter's fashion dreams. But first, Catherine stops at a magnificent winter ball at Hellman Hall, explaining that she must speak with an old friend to get the money they need for their new life. Estella wants to see the gala, but her mother insists she stay in the car while she's inside, and asks her to look after a red necklace, which she describes as a family heirloom. But after spotting a unique-looking dress, Estella and Buddy immediately leave the car to check the party out for themselves. Inside, Estella is awed by the extravagant fashion, feeling, for the first time, that she truly belongs. But when Buddy breaks free, Estella is forced to chase him through the crowded room, immediately drawing the attention of the Baroness's valet and right-hand man, John. He manages to catch her, and after seeing her black and white hair, covers her up and tries to escort her out. Estella once again breaks free. Cinema recap here. We've got a little challenge that'll take 5 seconds, and it will change your life forever. You ready? All you gotta do is like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you'll receive 10 free years of good luck. It's as simple as that, but is soon chased by 3 vicious Dalmatians and forced to hide outside. Estella falls over, but the 3 dogs run right past her. As she sits up, Estella is forced to watch as the dogs lunge at Catherine, pushing her off the cliff to her death. As the partygoers come to see what happened, the Baroness claims that it was an accident, and that the woman was accosting her for money. Estella blames herself for her mother's death and runs away, seeking refuge on a garbage truck. She doesn't notice that she's left behind her mother's necklace. Eventually, Estella makes it to the Regent Park Fountain, a place she wanted to visit with her mother. After apologizing for messing everything up, Cruella realizes that she lost the necklace her mother gave her. The next morning, Estella wakes up, having fallen asleep on the fountain. She sees 2 petty thieves, Jasper and Horace, and their one-eyed dog, Wink, swiping the money from the bottom of the fountain. Jasper quickly sees that Estella doesn't have a family, but when the cops show up, the trio grab their dogs and run. The brothers do their best to outrun her, but Estella and Buddy manage to keep up, even making it into their hideout. The boys introduce themselves to Estella, and she reveals that she's an orphan. Jasper sympathizes with her and urges Horace to remember that feeling, convincing him that Estella could be a good fit for their group. Having a girl around could make for an innocent distraction. Estella finds a safe place with the boys, but her two-toned hair is too obvious for a life of crime, so she dyes her hair red. 10 years later, Estella is a fully grown adult, living with Jasper, Horace, Buddy, and Wink as successful petty criminals. They successfully pickpocket strangers on the bus, break into homes, run cons in the hotel to steal guests' belongings, and frequently find themselves on the run when the police turn up. Although she's content with her simple life of crime, Estella continues to work on her fashion, longing for a career as a designer at Baroness von Hellman's prestigious couture company, the House of Baroness. On her birthday, Jasper and Horace steal a cake and give it to her with an extra special gift, a job offer from the Baroness's store, Liberty. Jasper reveals he pulled a few strings to get her accepted, namely breaking in and dropping her resume on the top of the pile. Estella is excited about the opportunity, but Horace thinks they're using the job as an angle for a con. Estella is deeply disappointed to find that her new job isn't as a glamorous fashion designer at all, but as an underappreciated janitor. Despite her best efforts, her boss won't even begin to look at Estella's designs, instead giving her much more cleaning work. Horace and Jasper arrive with lunch, but Estella quickly realizes that they're looking for the angle, an opportunity to rob the place. Estella insists that she wants to work honestly, with absolutely no crime in the store. The trash bag she's carrying gets poured onto her, leaving her filthy. Yet another thing her boss scolds her for. Ordered to stay and clean overnight. Estella steals some alcohol from his office, drinks herself into a stupor, and seeks out the window display, which she finds hideous and unfashionable. The next morning, Estella wakes up hungover by the window, having radically redecorated the window display in her own vision. Her boss prepares to fire her, until he discovers that the Baroness is visiting. Estella tries to hide with Horace and Jasper, who have already stolen their share of goods. But when the Baroness asks who's responsible for the window display, her boss rats her out and announces her imminent firing. To everyone's surprise, the Baroness reveals she's pleased with her work and offers Estella a job. Estella goes to work at the house of Baroness, conceiving of all new and original dress ideas and designs, hard work that is quickly noticed by the Baroness. Estella and the Baroness become fast friends because of Estella's beautiful work and designs, but Estella soon realizes that the Baroness is a cold and sociopathic woman. After work, Estella visits a vintage shop where she befriends the owner, Artie. She notices a stunning red dress in the window, a vintage design by the Baroness. Having successfully convinced the Baroness that she is a talent, Estella becomes close with her boss. But then she sees a necklace around the Baroness's neck and quickly realizes that it's the same one her mother gave her. Estella asks about it, and the Baroness claims it's a family heirloom, concocting an elaborate tale about a former employee that tried to rob her and then fell to her death. At this moment, Cruella starts to feel a deep sense of hatred for the Baroness, realizing that it was her gala that they attended the night of her mother's death. Estella tells Horace and Jasper what happened and insists that they use the opportunity to pull off a heist. She wants the necklace back. Over the next few days, Estella uses every moment to plan for the heist, memorizing every part of the Baroness's schedule, keeping an eye on the guards and their movements, and locating the cameras. She quickly realizes that the Baroness will recognize Estella if she attends, but Estella has another plan. On the night of the gala, Jasper and Horace arrive at the building as pest exterminators, sneaking into the building by using Wink as a dog-sized rat. While Horace makes for the safe, Jasper sneaks into the security mainframe. Estella, meanwhile, crashes the party in that stunning red dress with her natural hair, making a grand entrance as Cruella and stealing all the limelight from the Baroness. After taking down the Baroness's guards, Cruella sits down for a chat. Meanwhile, Horace makes it to the safe, only to discover that the necklace isn't there. The Baroness is wearing it. As the Baroness prepares to kick Cruella out of the party, Jasper stages a grand distraction, releasing rats into the party as a huge distraction. Amid the confusion, Cruella quietly grabs the necklace and gives it to Buddy, but one of the Dalmatians intervenes, swallowing the necklace. As the Baroness uses a dog whistle to give orders to her Dalmatians, Estella realizes that the Baroness was using the same whistle when the dogs attacked Catherine, meaning it was the Baroness who murdered her mother. With the heist a blatant failure, the thieves escape the estate only to find their truck has been towed. Estella hotwires a car to escape, but soon stops and cries at the realization that the Baroness was the one who killed her mom. The next day, Cruella orders the thieves to kidnap the 3 Dalmatians until one of them gives up the necklace through natural means. Now living fully in her Cruella persona, she pays a visit to a childhood friend, Anita Darling, now working as a journalist, and the only one to realize that Cruella and Estella are the same person, and convinces her to use her journalist connections to spread publicity for Cruella. Meanwhile, Jasper and Horace clumsily stage a dog napping of the Dalmatians while they're being bathed. Now, focused entirely on revenge, Cruella spends the next few weeks working to upstage and humiliate the Baroness through sheer style and publicity. Cruella makes a habit of going to the Baroness's extravagant parties in increasingly over-the-top and stylish outfits, pushing the Baroness off the front page and making sure everybody is talking about Cruella. The Baroness, now a mere footnote in the cultural discussion, grows increasingly furious about Cruella's constant antics. She fires her lawyer, Roger Ratcliffe, for his bumbling failure to locate, identify, and arrest Cruella, before tasking Estella with designing a special dress for her upcoming spring collection. Estella uses an expensive, foreign material to construct the dress, which clearly impresses the Baroness. That night, Horace and Jasper break into the house of the Baroness and create trouble, making it appear as if Cruella had broken in overnight. Paranoid and angry, the Baroness orders that all of her dresses be stored in a highly secured vault. At the hideout, Jasper and Horace start to develop a negative attitude towards Cruella due to her constant verbal abuse and lack of appreciation for their work, but she shows seemingly no remorse. On the day of her spring collection presentation, the Baroness opens the vault containing her dresses, only to discover a huge swarm of moths inside, which have eaten through the dresses. Realizing that the material Estella used was actually moth eggs, the Baroness pieces together that Estella and Cruella are the same person. Outside, the Baroness discovers that Cruella, Jasper, Horace, and Artie are putting on a show in Regent's Park, once again stealing attention from the Baroness. Cruella, dressed in a Dalmatian-style dress, makes a huge splash, with the Baroness believing that Cruella killed her dogs. Cruella returns to the hideout to discover that the Baroness and her goons have tied Jasper and Horace up, part of the plan to frame them for Cruella's murder. As she's also tied up, Cruella reveals that she knows the Baroness killed her mother, but the Baroness suggests that she's killed so many people she can't remember who Cruella's mother was. The Baroness sets the hideout on fire and leaves. But as she's backing out, Cruella notices a mysterious figure coming to save her. As the building burns, all of London hears that Cruella is dead. Estella wakes up the next morning in John's house along with the dogs. Having found the necklace, John reveals that it was the key to a box containing Estella's birth records. In those records, Estella is revealed to be the Baroness's biological daughter. He explains that while the Baron did want children, the Baroness did not, believing that a pregnancy would ruin or stifle her career. After giving birth, the Baroness ordered John to get rid of the child, but John could not bring himself to murder the baby, so he gave her to their sweet maid Catherine, who raised Estella in secret. Devastated by the revelation, Estella runs away and retreats to the fountain in Regent's Park, where she makes her peace with her adoptive mother and officially embraces her new full-time identity as Cruella. Brilliant, bad, and a little bit mad. Stealing a truck, Estella and Wink break Jasper and Horace out of prison, but they're still mad at her for mistreating them. She convinces them to come with her to John's house, where she proudly refers to them as her family. Now reunited, the crew concoct a whole new plot to bring down the Baroness once and for all. In the meantime, Cruella pays a visit to Artie, recruiting him for a big role in the plan. Horace steals Estella a new car called a Panther de Vil, and points out the similarity to the word devil, though it's pronounced de Vil. Estella quite likes the name. On the night of the Baroness's latest ball, she's shocked to discover that all of her guests have been tricked into wearing black and white Cruella wigs and outfits to honor Cruella. Unable to identify the real Cruella, the Baroness and her guards are on high alert. Cruella, who's already in the mansion, pokes the Baroness with a pin and grabs her dog whistle before slipping into the bathroom to change. Soon, the Baroness is dragged outside by the Dalmatians, where Estella stands with the dog whistle in the very spot that her adoptive mother was killed. Inside the mansion, Horace, Jasper, Artie, and John begin directing people outside. The Baroness lets go of the dogs, allowing them to speed towards Estella as they did with Catherine, but the dogs settle beside her, having come to obey their new master. Estella reveals that she is the Baroness's biological daughter, allowing the Baroness to take full credit for her creative genius. Hoping to make things better, the Baroness suggests that they could run the company together, mother and daughter. She slowly approaches and embraces Estella in a hug. After hugging her daughter, the Baroness pushes her off the cliff to her death. Realizing that everybody in attendance witnessed the blatant murder, the Baroness attempts to cover it up as an accident. Estella reveals that she survived the fall thanks to a tailored skirt made into a parachute, an ingenious design by her and Artie. As the Baroness is led into a police van for the arrest of Estella, Cruella arrives at the party in the de Vil, once again surprising everybody and upstaging the Baroness in her most humiliating moment. Cruella reveals that Estella left everything in her will to her, meaning all of the Baroness's fortune is now Cruella's. After holding a funeral for Estella, Cruella brings Horace and Jasper back to the newly renamed Hell Hall. Now that she's an heiress, Cruella de Vil decides to keep the estate and live there with her new crew. With John and Artie in for the ride, Estella tells her new team that she has big plans in store. Later, Cruella leaves 2 Dalmatian puppies at the home of Roger and Anita, named Pongo and Perdita. Roger, now working as a songwriter, begins on his latest work, a song about Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.